Hi, I'm Sterling Hart, and this is Dreamlight, where we work on dream interpretation and using the insights in the waking life. This is part two of How Can Dreams Show Us the Future? In the first video, we looked at three different descriptions. The first called emanation, the second one called knowledge by identity, and the third one, commerce. Now, I haven't developed metaphysics, so to me, these make sense on several levels. So, the thing that I like is that with emanation and knowledge by identity, you have a sense of there being a deeper truth that is being revealed. So, it is not about our waking ego aims and desires. What we are seeing has to do with some lesson we need, growth, or progress in our lives. It also points to the symbolic nature of reality, that behind appearances, there is a deeper meaning and providence to events in our lives. This is part of what I mean by self-knowledge. Now, it is also the case that our egoistic aims and our desires are not something sprung from nothing, but can be attached to something, covering it over, but still allowing a truer aim to push through. Best is to aim to cooperate with our own inner aims and growth. Best is to remove the desire in egoistic aims. The second thing is that by recognizing and working with the psychological dreams, we have a way of clearing a path to subliminal dreams, and we can see more easily the deeper meaning of symbols, and we can bring that into our vision of waking life. There are many aspects of life that carry meaning symbolically, the whole concept of sentimental value, and almost anything that has an emotional impact. I met people where I could see things happening to them and could understand it because of having explored dreams and seeing the connections between the symbols in subliminal dreams and the events that played out. My friend had a dream where the Virgin Mary appeared. It was a statue of the Virgin Mary, and it was being carried by a group of people into a dusty barn that was also a newspaper office. He didn't think much of it, the dream, but thought it was funny that he dreamed of the Virgin Mary. He was not open to exploring dreams as he thought they were a complete waste of time. A few weeks later, he came back from a 10-day meditation retreat. This is one of those systems where the goal is to remove all thoughts and attachment. You dismiss or let go of or reject anything that enters the mind. Towards the last day, he had a vision of the Virgin Mary, and he felt this wave of depression and then realized she was crying. He knew it was important, but couldn't fathom what it meant, and was trying to let it go and go back to silently meditating. But the image persisted and the waves of sadness. I worked for him, and as he told me the story, I reminded him of the dream. He joked that maybe he should have paid more attention. Part of this story of the meditation retreat involved him driving back and his car breaking down, and how he got stuck in a town waiting for parts, and the only place to stay was above the country western bar. A great way to enter the world after 10 days of silent retreat. I thought the vision he had was something coming to him, not something from the past, and rather than reject it, it should have been examined, and had it been welcomed when it came in, it would have revealed more knowledge. But I didn't say it, and there are reasons that you take the view to reject things. He was doing the best he could, and there were some painful things he had dealt with. It's not my dream nor vision, however, there is a reason why he told me, and I was able to learn from his experience. At the same time, he was not really open to me asking questions about the meaning of it, which is wise for meditative visions until they are integrated, and even then one must be careful when speaking about such things. A few days later, I came into work. It was a used bookstore, and I saw this big pile of Lutheran magazines that someone had dropped off wanting to sell. On the top one was a picture of an oil painting of the Virgin Mary in washed-out colors, looking pale. She was yellow, frail, and sickly. Then a woman came in, and I knew immediately that this was the owner's future wife. It was her magazines. They did eventually get married, and I did hear at some point that she had battled with depression and had left her church community after some sort of social political row involving their newsletter. Knowing the owner's history, this made a lot of sense from themes in his life as well. He had early trauma in his church community, and this had led him to a meditation path. He met her when she came to sell the magazines. But he had already dreamed about aspects of the situation and then had a vision and felt her emotional state. This subliminal connection wasn't showing him accurate detail, but did contain a large number of themes that related to him and his relationship with the church that he had been brought up in. He had issues with their treatment of women in his community and had witnessed someone growing up who had been abused by the church community over a daughter getting pregnant out of wedlock, and it had resulted in a suicide. He told me this later, and I could see the relationship of the dream and the vision. Can there be a reluctance to deal with painful issues? Yeah, easily. Why feel pain? There is a level of being able to remove old traumas by a direct action of your consciousness, so that you simply reject them. But this takes a very deep connection and great stability of awareness. For most of us, we have to feel and work through painful things and process them. But on the other hand, the deep connections to the subtle working of the world is being revealed to us, and we can speed up the process and gain knowledge, ability, and insights into others where skills can be used by working with these subtle experiences, not just escaping or ignoring them. With dream awareness, you can sometimes see how events organize themselves, either due to dreaming or because you have developed the awareness of the subliminal and things take on an extra layer of meaning. Now, I get why some traditions would not want to examine what comes up. For instance, recovering alcoholics often have a lot of negative feelings and voices in their head, and doing something that allowed you to rid yourself of these voices, avoiding pain and finding peace would be a very powerful thing. But why not be open and receptive and be able to handle intuitive insights? Why not be able to discriminate between the noise and the truth? In dream work, especially when we are open to the possibility of a greater foreseeing knowledge, we have to initially be attentive lest we be carried away by our desires and ego aims. It does take work. There are many things for which we are born, and we have to aim to complete them. But we can become more conscious of them and actively support ourselves in moving forward with them. Not only is this fulfilling, but it also helps those around you. The third thing is that when we pay attention to these dreams, over time we will see things coming up in the waking time, and we will think of someone and then run into them. We feel which ways things will go. This allows us to overcome many of the baseless fears people experience. The important thing is not so much the dream as the connection to the source of insight in the subliminal, and dreams are one way of developing this. The interpretation of psychological dreams can also help us deal with many kinds of psychological issues and blocks. We see and understand our conditioning and beliefs, the ideas, good or bad, that we have formed from our experiences. It can also reinforce the positive movements of our thoughts and emotions. We learn to see and relate to themes that run through our lives. Lastly, one explanation that I don't use but is common is to say these dreams are messages. There are dreams that are communications, that are messages. These are commerce. You are in communication with other people or beings. But when you say it is a message, then you still have the problem of how did the messenger know? It simply pushes this off. It also gives you less room to develop and open to the subliminal because you are dependent on being told. If you think all dreams are messages, that is a recipe for both disappointment and for misrepresenting what you do have. You will try to get it to fit what you desire, or for your own ego to mislead you. It's like trying to treat the dreams as literal. Notice that with emanation, it assumes there is a source of good and true, the light. But with knowledge by identity, it assumes that the true, good, and light is within all things, as they are in the place worked out for them from above. So these descriptions, as I would call them, should help in using insights. But they are also flexible as ideas, so you can work with them with your own beliefs and views of the world, and that all-important question of how it works. What is it for? What is my place within it? If you got something out of this video, please hit the like. If you want more dreams, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, follow the Patreon link below. Till next time.